sides are talking in good faith about the debt ceiling, but also what it will take to restart the government. There's not a clear timetable yet, but we want to move quickly. Some congressional Democrats have balked at the outline of the GOP offer, insisting the government must reopen and the debt ceiling must be increased to get broader talks going. Another Democrat, Elijah Cummings of Maryland, said President Obama needs to press for the opening of the government. Without a doubt, the default would be much more catastrophic, but I've got constituents, a lot of whom work for the federal government, who are going through catastrophes every hour, Cummings said. Well, it seems that the Republicans are finally coming to their senses, and that we can't destroy the Affordable Care Act in this manner. The president will never go for it. This was a bad move on our part, and on top of it, it's illegal. Now, they're not going to say it was illegal to do it in this manner, but it was an illegal maneuver. There's a procedure to follow here. Now, one thing any agreement is not likely to include is a provision to defund the Affordable Care Act that was signed into law 3 years ago. Ryan, who was the Republican Party's vice presidential nominee last year, didn't mention Obamacare in a Wall Street Journal op-ed earlier this week, saying that instead that politicians from both parties should focus on modest reforms to entitlement programs and the tax code. So now we'll see what progress is made today, but I won't go through the rest of the timeline because it's basically a rehash of what I've been saying all week long in previous podcasts. But keep an eye on the nation's capital. Hopefully some progress can be made throughout the weekend. I don't expect the government to open up today, but it would be nice that 800,000 federal government workers can go back to work on Monday. Okay, so we've got a couple of days to iron out some details. At least let's get this shop back open. Okay, enough is enough. Well, on the same line about the government shutdown, in a surprise move, Utah National Parks are set to open tomorrow with a little bit of state aid. Seems that Utah's daily expense amounts to $167,000. The state says it's worth it and hopes to be repaid. And this is from the Salt Lake Tribune, article written by Trent Nelson. Representatives from several counties and state governments met in St. George to hear a plan to reopen the national parks as the federal government shutdown continues. This was yesterday. Michael Mower, Deputy of Community Outreach for the Governor's Office, and House Speaker Becky Lockhart spoke. Representatives from several counties and state governments met in St. George to hear a plan to reopen the national parks as the government shutdown continues. And for some reason, it just here we go. For some reason, my computer copied the same thing over and over. It's Friday, folks. Bear with me. Well, the late afternoon sun lights up the entrance to the Zion National Park. Yada, 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 yada. Okay, let's get to the meat of the story here. Well, good grief. Well, where's the actual story at? Well, it looks like, in a nutshell, I'll just paraphrase it. The state of Utah plans to reopen the parks tomorrow with state funding until they either run out of funds or the federal government steps in and says, okay, we'll start paying it back now. And get the national parks open and hopefully open up tourism. Now, a lot of people out there going, we don't need this. Well, every state has a tourism industry, including Missouri. And even at this time of year, tourism is a big deal. And if it's shut down, you're losing a lot of revenue. Your restaurants aren't making as much money. Your hotels aren't making as much money. Your convenience stores aren't making as much money, to say the least. Your tourism sites certainly aren't making any money. All this is a cyclical effect. And with less revenue coming in, less tax dollars that could go right back into your community to help keep things going and possibly expand. So, even when you say something doesn't affect you, it does affect you. Okay? We're all on this ride together, so it only makes sense that we try to make these things work. Okay? Alright, well that's pretty much my soapbox for today. Not a whole lot to talk about. The stalemate continues. I haven't killed my car battery in 3 days, and hopefully it'll stay that way. And I just checked it a while ago. I needed something out of my car. Dome light's still on, still works, so I closed the door and make sure that the light was off before I came up here. Or did I? Well, anyway. If I'm a little late to work, you'll understand why. Okay. Still to come on the program. In a few minutes, I'll have news headlines, the nationwide weather forecast, as well as the Kirksville, Missouri area weather forecast, celebrity birthdays, along with today in history. And coming up next, though, I'll have for you things you need to know. You've probably already been to the water cooler a couple of times because this is a later start than normal to my program. So we'll still have things you need to know because you're bound to go back to the water cooler sometime this afternoon. And, you want to pass along some things that you heard on this program. Make you sound a little bit smarter. And hopefully I'll give you some information here. Okay? Yes, I'm stalling for time because I'm loading some PSAs. And anyway, enough of my babbling. And we'll get back into the program in just a moment with more of First Cup right after these messages.
Hello, folks. I'm here to talk about cancer. Now, I know about cancer. Matter of fact, I lost a lung and a couple of ribs learning about it. So you don't mind if I don't beat around the bush. I'm for straight talk with no chance of being misunderstood. The simple fact is that cancer can often be cured if it's detected and treated in time. And that's why a health checkup once a year is very important. It can give your doctor the chance to detect the disease long before you yourself would know about it. If it's there, you're giving yourself the best chance to lick it. Most likely the doctor's not going to find anything seriously wrong, and that clean bill of health will give you a lot of peace of mind. So call your doctor for an appointment. And talking for your American Cancer Society, I'd like to say we want to wipe out cancer in your lifetime. So fight cancer with a checkup and a check.
Hi friends, Joe Haffner here. Are you interested in buying, selling, trading, or renting a house? Or maybe you're in the market for buying or selling a car? Or perhaps selling or giving away clothes, furniture, or electronics? Well, I can help you out. Just email me, Joe, at Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. That's Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. Email me today with your item and or items, and together we'll come up with a creative way to buy, sell, trade, or rent any reasonable item or service that you want. Keep in mind, though, I don't deal with the exchange of firearms, alcohol items, drugs, or anything illegal or immoral. So send me an email today at Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids that don't know where they will get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength in Food Network and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
I'd like to drop out of high school and get a meaningless job that makes me feel bad about myself.
I'd like to fall victim to the old boys network.
I don't want anybody to notice me.
I just want to fly under the radar.
I want to splatter against the glass ceiling.
I don't have an opinion.
I want to be a straight C student.
I'm going to be a biomedical engineer. I want to succumb to peer pressure all of my life.
I'm going to be a best-selling author and win the National Book Award.
I'm going to be a marine biologist.
Wait, I take mine back. I'm going to be a biomedical engineer.
I think I'll be the president.
I'm going to be Secretary of State.
World-class chef, right here.
Race car driver.
Artist. Paleontologist.
Film director.
Surgeon. Teacher. Scientist. Olympian.
I'm going to be the boss.
Welcome back to the program known as First Cup. I'm your host, Joe Haffner. Today in Studio 29. Yeah, moved down the hall a little bit. Studio 26 being used by someone else today. So I had to move down, and my bandwidth not as strong, but still holding on here and making our great escape. Love that movie. I think I may have watched it this weekend. I haven't seen it for quite a while. Steve McQueen, James Garner, Donald Pleasance. Great movie. My favorite World War II movie. Perhaps one of my favorite war movies of all time. All right. Well, it's time to find out what's trending on this Friday, the 11th day of October. So hit it, Maestro.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
And now things you need to know on this Friday. It is the 11th day of October, as I've mentioned from time to time today. It's also National Coming Out Day. No, I'm not coming out, but it is National Coming Out Day. It's also Take Your Teddy Bear to Work Day. Yeah, I don't think they'll let me do that on the floor, but I'll try. And it's World Egg Day. Okay. So people all over the world rejoice and celebrate the almighty egg. I'm sure Mork will like that. In News Attack this morning, what's left of it, 2 minutes that is, a Breaking Bad opera is coming. Oh boy. Let's hope it doesn't give Keeping Up with the Kardashians any ideas. Arizona State Fair runs from now through Sunday, November 3rd in Phoenix. Boy, when they throw a fair, they throw a fair. And the Arkansas State Fair runs from now through next Sunday, October 20th, in Little Rock, Arkansas. See, my cell phone even likes that. Elsewhere in News Attack this morning, Hershey has announced plans to introduce its first new brand in 30 years. Wow, 30 years. Apparently they heard about my diet and decided that would be the perfect time to knock me off my diet. A nude haunted house has been canceled. Oh damn! There goes my plans for the weekend. Shocktoberfest has canceled their nude haunted house option after local officials asked park bosses to reconsider their plan. The Pennsylvania Scare House was planning to offer a naked and scared tour, allowing people to strip down to their birthday suits. Now they still offer a prude option for those who wish to strip to their undies. Sounds like a fun time with my date tomorrow night. And you'll never, ever have to leave your house again. Large screen TV? Check. Favorite pizza place on speed dial? Check. Multiple movie and TV streaming sources? Of course. Unlimited supply of toilet paper delivered by Amazon? You betcha. Yep. Bottomless tray of soft, hot pretzels. Wait a second. Well, that's about to change, my friends. Thanks to the awesome SPF 200 soft pretzel maker. The think tank behind this, George, you can think. Let's try that again. Slow down, Joe. Make the words count. Write what you wrote. Read what you wrote. Write what you wrote. Read what you wrote. Think George Foreman Grill for pretzel lovers. And it's available online for $20. So you really don't have to leave the house for that either. Oh my God. SPF, not only does it make pretzels, it protects you from ultraviolet rays. In the wacky but true files today, plane turns around because of broken toilets. Seems a Japanese Airlines flight from Moscow to Tokyo had to turn around about 2 hours into its trip after the 787 Dreamliner plane's toilets broke. The journey usually takes about 10 hours, which would have been 10 very uncomfortable hours without the ability to flush. All that money into that research for that plane, and they still can't find a decent toilet. I tell you, the more things change, the more they stay the same.